Hey guys, Eric with Blue Line Fishing. Welcome back to the channel. Your time's important to me. And what we're going to do in today's time is I'm going to show you how to take a good crankbait like this one and turn it into a great crankbait like this one with just a few simple modifications. Stick with me. You're going to enjoy it. All right, guys, so we're talking crankbaits today. And what's one of the knocks on crankbaits? Don't get me wrong, they're a fantastic bait. There are so many shapes, sizes, colors, styles, manufacturers out there. They're an awesome bait. But one of the knocks on them is when you get those fish hooked up, that they tend to want to throw these hooks. And it's amazing how something can throw two big treble hooks like this out, but they seem to do it on a regular basis. So I'm going to show you a few little modifications that's going to make that a lot harder for those fish to do. So you might be asking yourself, does it have to be a square bow crankbait like these? Or does it have to be lipless crankbaits like these? Or does it have to be a deep diving crankbait? You know what? It doesn't matter. Whatever style of crankbait it is that you like to throw, these mods will work on those other types of baits as well. Also, guys, while I've got a second here, talking about tackle storage, I am switching all my gear over to these lure lock boxes. This is the new skinny that they have, and it is awesome. It takes up so much less space. But the thing that makes these tackle boxes, honestly, they rock, just so awesome, is that, you know, they have that proprietary lining where you can invert them. Your gear's not going to get, your tackle's not going to get scratched up, dinged up, tangled up. No more of that mess like that. I absolutely love these lure lock boxes. And if you guys want to check them out, I have a discount code for you guys. Just go down in the link in the description, use the discount code BlueLineFishing10, and you can get yourself 10% off of any purchase on their website. Check them out. Okay, we're going to take a look at both of these baits head to head. This one is right out of the package. This one's already had the modifications done to it. First thing you notice about this bait here that strikes me and probably strikes you guys too is how woefully undersized these treble hooks are. There's a lot of manufacturers that do this. First thing I'm going to do is upsize the treble hooks one or two sizes, basically as big as I can get away with without the hooks fouling. And what I like to upsize them to is like I have on this bait, a short shank treble hook in front, and this is a long shank in back, but a bigger, beefier hook that definitely has more room here in that 90-degree bend to get more, no pun intended, but bite on that fish, where it's got more of that fish's jaw embedded in this whole section of the hook, rather than these much smaller treble hooks you can see on here. So I'm going to upsize. That's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing, in my mind, this is the biggie, is if you look right here, I put two split shot on the back of this, on this back treble hook. And the reason being, it does not let that fish get leverage like it normally would, being able to sling that bait. And what I mean by that is, when that fish has it in its mouth, say like this, when it's got this one treble hook, it can build up enough leverage. When this bait starts to roll over, it gets tight, like it's getting tight on my hand. And when it slings back the other way, you have this tendency to be able to roll that out of his mouth. When you've got two split rings on here, and I'm not the first guy to do this, so it's by any stretch of the imagination, but it really, really works. So now when you've got this on here, he's got this in his mouth. Well, this bait has a tendency to be able to roll more, and when he slings his head back the other way, it's also going to work like a piece of chain or chain link. So it's not going to, he's not going to be able to build up that fulcrum like he normally would, that leverage to be able to throw that hook out. So the second split shot there is really, really a big deal. And then the third thing we want to do is, if you look on this bait, most baits now, and there's some that don't, but they come standard with, you know, the traditional round split ring. So what I want to do is, I'm going to replace that with the oval split ring as we have here. So what I don't want it to do, I don't want to tie off right here where we have the split on the split ring, because after a while that could pinch the line and cause it to break, or if you're playing a big fish and you tie down on it, it can cause some undue strain on the line and once again cause it to fail. And it's so easy to just go ahead and switch over to one of these oval split rings to where you're never tying off on the split ring. So I'm going to go through right now what we need to make these modifications like we did on this bait here. Okay guys, this is all we need to make the easy modifications to this bait like we just talked about. Just need yourself a set of split ring pliers, and as you can see, they've got the little lip on that on the plier right there that makes it easy to grab hold of that split ring. Let you guys get a closer look at that if I can get it to focus. There we go. So a pair of split ring pliers, a couple spare split rings. Get yourself some, and I've got one left in this pack, short shank treble hooks. These are size 4. These are the KVD Elite trebles. Must-have. There's a lot of good manufacturers out there. Gamakatsu, Owner, Falcon Hooks, Eagle Claw, you name it. And then split rings. And when I get the split rings, what I like to do is this, to me, it looks like a number 3 split ring on this crankbait. So I'm going to get the size number 3 split rings to switch it out with. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and switch these out, and I'll show you the finished product. All right guys, here's the modifications on this crankbait. First thing we did is replace these undersized treble hooks, or what I felt was undersized treble hooks on this bait with, we'll get rid of those, bigger, beefier, wider gapped treble hooks. And then the next thing we did was replace this split ring with an oval. That way we're never tying off on the split where it could cause us to get pinched, you know, that line to get pinched and maybe break a fish off, put undue strain on the line. And the last thing we did here was double split rings on the back to make it more like a chain, and it doesn't have quite as much of a fulcrum when that fish is slinging its head around trying to throw that bait. These 3 easy mods will help you get more fish to the boat or on the bank, I promise. All right guys, so I'm going to try and give you an example of what we're talking about here with old Bob the Bass. You can see with the double split ring system that we have here, this bait has a tendency now to want to stay embedded in the fish's mouth. And what I mean by that is he can't, on the edge of his mouth, if there's only one split ring, you can see it'll form a lot more of a fulcrum where he has a chance when he's shaking that head back and forth like crazy to throw that hook. But when you've got 2 split rings, it embeds in and this bait flies around a lot looser, but at the same time, he can't build up that fulcrum he needs, that rigidness to throw that bait. So I know that's a rough example on this mounted fish here, but kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you got something you can take with you and use in your fishing arsenal now. Also, don't forget the lure lock code down in the description, Blue Line Fishing 10. And remember, until the next video, get out there and fish.